What's good? It's your boy Trillis T, aka Tyler Reitz, and today is another video of backpacking Mexico and my journeys through Sayulita. Let's get into it. I got on a bus from Guadalajara and I was going to Sayulita. Now the only reason I was going to Sayulita was because I was going there to meet a friend, and that friend is Paul. When I got there, it was very different than Guadalajara. The buildings were smaller, they were more poor, and the people were interesting. They had a vibe to them. If you weren't a local, they'd cut you out, which was different because in Guadalajara and Mexico City, me being a gringo, an extranjero, people would talk to me like it was nothing. I was cool, but in Sayulita, it was strange. I was excluded. I got into a hostel and then I went surfing. Surfing for my first time was a disaster. I got my ass kicked. The waves were showing no mercy. I had no clue what I was doing. After that, one of the first things I noticed when I was in Sayulita was the price difference compared to Mexico and all the gringos. So the price difference, it was a little bit pricier since it's a very touristy area, and on top of that, there was people speaking English right and left.
Bear with me, I'm searching for tacos right now. I forgot the name actually. Just forgot the name, but the guy told me they're best tacos, 15 pesos for one. And around here that's super cheap because everything here is fucking expensive. Compared to Mexico City, like, come here if you have money. And there's so many gringos, it's almost like Cancun, but smaller, I'd say. I don't know, I hear like little kids walking around speaking English, and that's like completely fucking strange because in Mexico City and Guadalajara, I never heard that. I always heard little kids speaking Spanish, but now here there's like kids on vacation with their moms and dads. So
I was just taken back, like, am I in America right now, the United States, or am I in Mexico? What's going on? So as I told you, I was staying at this one hostel, and this hostel was like a cylinder, and the stairs would wrap around it. It was very nice, but the vibe there was terrible. I needed to get the hell out and get the hell out quick. These people had sticks up their butts. They thought they were the coolest people around in this entire town. They thought because they surfed they were cool. So this vibe I knew had to end. I took my surfing lesson with one of the local people since I realized I couldn't surf myself. I couldn't teach myself. I hired this guy named Carlos, and Carlos is the man. I'll link his website below if you're going to Sayulita. He has some rogue surf lessons that him and his wife teach. Really nice guy, took me around in his van, showing me these good spots, and eventually we got some food at the end of it. After our lesson, he told me, yeah, my mom, she's renting out a room in her house. You're welcome to go there and stay. It's only like this much money for a week. I think it was about 500 pesos. So I took him up on that because it was literally like my lifesaver. I could not spend another day in that one hostel I was at. Packed up my stuff and I went to his mom's house.
we stopped at his mom's house yesterday, and I talked to her a bit. She makes food there too and sells it dirt cheap, 50 pesos compared to like the standard meal here, which is like 150 pesos.
I was killing it on saving cash, and I was living with a local mom. It was just double whammy. Great place. I'm glad I came in contact with Carlos. Moving from my living situation and speaking more about the local people there, I told you guys that I went to Sayulita for the main purpose of meeting my boss's friend, Paul. Now this Paul guy, I never met him, and he was one to meet. One of the most open-minded thinkers. He actually ended up meeting me at my hostel just at a frank occurrence. I was walking in there and he was walking out, and he's like, "You're Tyler." And I'm like, "Well, you're Paul." He's been living there for 10 years, selling t-shirts on the side, and he has his hands in all the t-shirt business in Sayulita. He lent me his surfboard and actually took me around, showing me the best places to eat and the best places to drink. Amazing man, amazing time. That's the power of Sayulita, small town. With all these ups, eventually came a down. A day where I was just completely done with life and with the culture. I had to stop at the side of a road and film myself because this was something I needed to document. Now, traveling, as much as I want to say, as much as I don't want to say this, is not always a fun time. It's not always a fun time. You will come into culture shock and you will hate it. You will feel like you are alone, at least if you're a solo traveler like myself. So I filmed it, and here it is.
Today is June 18th, 3:48 p.m. So I'm having one of those days where culture shock is hitting me. I feel like ass is what I really feel like. I feel so many feelings all at once. I feel like I'm not good enough and I'm not intelligent enough, and almost just like I want to go back into my cave. I want to seclude myself. I feel like I'm isolated is what I feel like. And I know it's just part of the experience because there's always ups and downs, but I'm just having a down right now. I'm gonna go write about it, but I don't know. I don't even want to do that. I don't want to do much of anything except for about to go get a meal, go get some tacos. I think that would make me feel better. Food always makes myself feel good. And I'm not a binge eater by any means, but I think it does something for the energy. Yeah, I'm just feeling like ass, just tanking it today. I want to go cry or something. And there's a voice in the back of my head that tells me that I'm good enough and that all this will fade away. And I believe that voice. I'm not ass. I'm not shit. I shouldn't treat myself like that. But I just think that on travel, there's some days where you can't help it. It just hits you, and it hits you at the most random spots. Like today, I was just surfing, and I was having a good time. Slightly, the waves were shit, but yeah, I was enjoying it, and then I started kind of like tanking down because the waves sucked, and I just wasn't feeling it. And then it all hit me. Yeah, I wanna to sum this all up. I feel like I don't know enough Spanish. I don't know enough of the culture. I don't know anything here. And it frustrates me because I'm a 20-year-old male. And male doesn't matter. I shouldn't have said that. But I'm 20 years fucking old, and I feel like I should know. But in my country, I do know. I do know everything. I know everything. Well, not everything, but you know what I mean. I know the language. I know the food. I know the customs. Here, I don't know that. And that's a good thing on good days. You know, it's adventurous. It's exciting. But on bad days like today, it feels like ass. I feel like shit. And that's where I'm at. So right now, I'm vlogging in the middle of the street with my GoPro ledged against two logs, and people walking by looking at me like I'm nuts, like some gringo is out of his mind talking to his camera. And that may be true, but I enjoy this. I enjoy making videos, I enjoy editing videos, and I enjoy being part of a community. So that's why I'm doing it. Don't have to care about what anyone else thinks. It's just myself.
Moving from that, I actually traveled to a nearby city called Puerto Vallarta. And Puerto Vallarta is a very big harbor town. But in this harbor town, there's not shit to do. Like, yeah, you can look at a nice ocean. Yeah, you can look at nice cars, a slight city. But go the extra 2 hours and just go to Guadalajara. Puerto Vallarta fell short. I had some good food, but it wasn't what I expected. I actually ended up at a Walmart, believe it or not, checking out nice motorcycles.
You can buy fucking motorcycles at Walmart.
I also saw a Starbucks, and that's when you know you're in a rich part of the neighborhood, people, is when you see a Starbucks, you know you are not messing in a poor neighborhood. It's just something. It's my theory.
It's gonna be some real talk. If you guys are a gringo, an extranjero, whatever you call them, a foreigner, remember that Mexico isn't like this. This is a part of Mexico. This is a richer part of Mexico. Not all the city is rich with malls this big and coffee stores. Like, remember that. Because too often I hear people who go to like all-inclusive resorts in Mexico and they say, I stepped off and I was so scared. It's like, well, because you're living in an imaginary land. Like, Mexico is grungy at times. It's poor. And that's just how it is. It's different than America. It's different than wherever you may be from. And that's just something you need to recognize. And this is a part of Mexico, like, but it doesn't represent all of it.
There's a lot of local art in Sayulita, and that was really inspirational is what it was, because this lady, she was from Oregon and she had a pop-up shop, but it was more than a pop-up shop because she was there for some years and she was just selling her artwork, making a living off of it, loving it. And it gave me a lot of inspiration because I want to do that someday. And it's very cheap in Mexico. Anyone can really go down there. Like, if you have enough money here, and when I mean enough, I mean like not much, you can go there and survive. I was kind of sick of the beach life because if the waves were bad, people would go and smoke weed. And if the waves were good, people would still smoke weed. Either way, I was smoking weed and I was just stuck there most of the days doing nothing. So when my time came to an end, I was like, let's go back to Guadalajara and let's get something going. I'm ready to go explore more of Mexico. I had my time on the beach and I realized I'm not a beach man. Let's get in a bus and let's roll. But getting onto the bus and finding the right one to go back to Guadalajara was the biggest challenge. My friend, she was telling me to go the easy route, which for her was easy because she was Mexican and she could speak Spanish. But for me, it was hard because my Spanish is más o menos. So I get on this bus and eventually get lost. I take out a lot of frustration on her in my own mind. You know, I'm just beating myself up.
So today we were gonna go on another date, but today was my last day in Sayulita. And needless to say, we didn't do anything. All we kind of did was just talk. And then she's like, you should go, since you're leaving Sayulita today, to Puerto Vallarta, and then from there to Guadalajara, because Puerto Vallarta has super cheap flights. And I wanted to say, like, well, I don't really want to go somewhere new because I might fuck up and get stranded, lost. But I didn't want to piss her off. And I should have just been like, hey, you know what? I don't want to go there. I want to go to my first idea, which was go to a local town and then just get a bus from Guadalajara to there. I got on the bus to Puerto Vallarta, and me being a fucking gringo, which I truly am and I respect, I'm a fucking gringo, baby. I took the wrong, or I stayed on the bus for way too long. Way too long. I overstayed my time on it until the end. I was like, dude, halfway to the end I asked the bus driver, I'm like, where are we going? Like, where's this place? He's like, oh, we just passed it. Like, shit, it was by the airport, which is 15 miles now from where we're at. And like, fuck. I'm a fucking gringo. I can't hardly speak Spanish, but I'm on the bus, and I'm looking at my phone, the GPS, and it says we got 6 minutes. But say this, my LTE, my extraterrestrial connection to my phone shorted me out because it said I went over too much data, so it's like super slow. And it said I had 6 minutes, and I was like, yeah, okay, you know, I'll give it like 4, and then I'll look at it again. I look at it, and at this point, we went past the airport on the GPS. I was fucked. Count how many fucks I've said so far. We're past the airport, and the guy, I told him, I'd just stand up at this point and like actually ask him. He's like, oh, lo siento, I forgot again. Fuck you, man, you can't forget like this. And he's like, you can take a taxi. Yeah, thanks, man, I'm glad you're paying for that taxi. I'm sure glad you're paying for that. So I get out of this bus, and I don't buy a taxi. Because I'm a cheap motherfucker. I'm cheap. Or at least I'm trying to prove myself a point. I need some downtime. I need some time to think. I need some time to talk. And I need some time to get my shit together. Because obviously, it's not in a fucking present right now. It's not wrapped up underneath a Christmas tree. So I need to get my shit together. That's why I'm walking and talking. I'm really angry at myself. This girl, I should have told her. That's my problem, and that's why I'm traveling, is I'm not comfortable with who I am. I'm not comfortable speaking up. I'm not comfortable crossing those barriers and pissing people off, but I need to be, because where am I going to go in life if I'm butt kissing everybody else? I'm going to go nowhere. I need to state how I feel and what I feel at the time. But that's my biggest problem. I like to make everyone happy. And I don't know where this started from, if it's because I was born like it, or if some time in my past I found out that this was the best way to live, is to make other people happy rather than myself. Biggest load of shit. If you aren't happy, make sure to tell someone. You're not alone in this shit, and you should never be. If you don't like something, speak up. And I know it's easier said than done, because I'm battling it every freaking day. I'm battling it right now. This walk is because I did not say how I felt and what I was feeling. And I'm angry. I'm frustrated with that. So I'm walking. I'm walking to the bus station. I'm tired, man. I'm tired of not being who I want to be in this world. I'm tired of not speaking my mind. I'm tired of being alone. I want to be loved. I want to love myself. And that's the hardest thing for me. The hardest thing is to love myself. Because if you can't love yourself, you can't love anyone. If you cannot love yourself, you can't love anyone. That's the biggest thing I've been struggling with. But I'm 20 years old. At least I notice it. Some people, they find contentment not in self-improvement, but in self-medication. Getting obliterated by alcohol, getting obliterated by drugs. And that's not me. I want to be the best person who I can be. Because someday I want to have a family. And I want to have an empire that I've created, that I wanted to create, all based on my beliefs. But with that being said, I have to practice my beliefs. And I have to get better. And it's hard fucking shit. It's hard shit. But it's gotta be done. That's my story.
And eventually I find my way back to Guadalajara. And that's where my journey continues. Keep on the watch for my next episode, episode 5, where I go back to Guadalajara and I spend a week or so of just me getting ready to go down to the south. It's a good one and it's a good time, so check that one out.